Denver, Florida. This is awesome. Hingham, Mass. So yeah, it's so wonderful that we can come together. And I think that this virtual space has really allowed us to do that. And our practice today, I'm going to back up and just get started. And our practice today is really about balance and energy and how we can kind of raise our vibration. And what that means is it doesn't necessarily mean that we're energized or we're doing a lot. It actually means that whatever our vibration is, that we're living our life to the fullest. And we can do that off our mat, certainly. And yoga gives us so many tools on our mat to really prepare for those circumstances off our mat. So today we're going to be working with, sure, our physical body. So we're not all here together in a room physically, but we're here in our physical body, and we're going to bring some physical and spiritual energy together. And in the chakra, and this is my Vermont accent saying chakra, right? So I was listening the other night to translations in Sanskrit thinking, okay, Amber, don't use your Vermont accent. And there is one, if you know, there's one person from Vermont on here besides me, but it's actually chakra. So it rolls off the tongue. And I was just practicing that the other night. And the actual chakras I'll go through in Sanskrit as we move through our class, but they're really invisible wheels of energy. And we want to think about our body. Just come to seated for a moment, and I'll just kind of talk through this momentarily, and then we'll get started. But we're going to be working with our 7 major chakras this morning. And we're going to be thinking about kind of the vertical space energetically moving up and down the body. So that includes 21 minor chakras, as well as meridians that kind of align the side of the spine. And that is something that we're familiar with in our yin practice for some of us. So what's really wonderful is our nadis, or energy channels, and we have 72,000 of them, move horizontally. And the intersection or consciousness is right at our heart chakra. So I think it's so important to come together in this beautiful kind of heart space and heart connection, bringing our physical and our spiritual together. And we're going to begin in child's pose today. And so before we come to that, I also just wanted to mention the donation link that I've included is on behalf of my friend and colleague, Stacey Hughes. It's a donation to Stay Strong. And Stay Strong is a program that was developed at the YMCA. I've always taught at YMCAs. I love how inclusive they are. I love that there's an opportunity for every single person to come together in wellness. It's a collaborative community program providing essential daily living support to cancer patients, cancer survivors, and then the households, the family members of cancer survivors and patients. So this program and donations actually allow the Y to help out when people and members are going through cancer. And it can be really important in terms of daycare if people have treatments and things like that. So that's for the donation link that Valerie has included. That's where that goes. And that's what that donation link is for today. So no pressure to donate, but if you'd like to, that's what it's for. So we'll begin in child's pose this morning. Some of you morning, me this afternoon. And we're just gonna take our knees nice and wide. If you're comfortable with the knees wide, if you have any sensitivity through the knees, you can always just stay seated if that's more comfortable. But we're gonna just walk the knees wide, bring the big toes together, and just start to walk your hands towards the top of your mats this morning. You can tell I teach in the morning, right? Because I say this morning, but wherever you are, whatever time it is, and we have so many people from different time zones. So just come together, just start to let the forehead come down onto the earth. If you want to use some cushion here to pad the forehead or the hips. And just start to settle into the breath. And when we work with our heart chakra, we want to think about this 360-degree space in the body. So the front of the heart, just allowing it to melt here, which can signify I'm gonna start our Instagram here. I didn't do that. And the front of the heart just signifies maybe the future, where we're headed. And the back of the heart, maybe our past and our journey that has brought us to this moment here. And just feeling the energy that you brought with you to your practice today. Noticing that energy through the breath, taking a body scan. Maybe connecting with someone on a heart level that you can't be with physically. You might close the eyes here and just visualize this beautiful rainbow breath, just gently waving over the body, all the way from the base of the spine through the crown. And taking this time to notice the quality of your breath, maybe the temperature of the breath here. Notice that inhale and exhale, and then perhaps bringing the breath together as one, just as we've come together here in this Rising Together community through Kira Grace. Just letting that breath spill over the body, the mind. And then on your next inhale, let's start to lift the elbows and just walk your hands over to the right as you exhale. Just gonna lean into your left hip a little bit. It might even move towards that left heel. And let your body just kind of melt to let your head bow below the heart. And perhaps just softening all of those muscles that run alongside the spine, maybe thinking about expansion laterally through the body, those energy channels. And expansion through the fingertips, the fingers spread. And then as we inhale, let's start to lift the elbows and walk our hands over to the left. Lean into that right side, right sit bone might work towards the heel. Head bows below the heart. We'll take another full breath. Inhale, lifts the elbows, walk the hands back to center, and then gently begin to guide yourself up and onto all fours. But we're going to keep our knees wide, so a child's pose position through the knees. Hands will walk underneath the shoulders here. And we're just going to kind of zigzag the body. So bringing the hips over towards the right, zigzag over to the left, all the way back into our child's pose. And then moving, maybe noticing jagged edges in the body, choppy breath. And then zigzag all the way back over to the left, to the right, and back to center. And we'll just switch the direction of that. So just bringing the hips to the opposite side, shifting to the right, and then over to the left. Draw back towards that child's pose, settle in for a breath. And then moving back. Coming into that tabletop position. You can walk your knees a little bit closer together so that the knees are underneath your hip bones. And we're gonna just take a few moments here in between our cat-cow for that sacred pause. So our sacred pause is this beautiful space that we can take between when our physical body is stimulated and when our brain is stimulated. So we'll take an inhale, soften the belly, draw your heart forward as you curl the tail and pause, maybe even pause the breath. And then as you exhale, round the spine into your cat stretch and pause. Inhale when you're ready, moving into that cow. And exhale, flush the breath out, maybe an audible sound. We'll take a few rounds here, just taking your time, moving at a pace that feels comfortable for you. And on your next breath, we'll exhale, round the spine, draw the navel back towards the ribs, towards the spine. And then come back to your tabletop position. Tuck all 10 toes. Michelle did a great class last week, really working on our feet, doing some massage, which was wonderful. So if you were in that class, you know what I mean. So we're just gonna shift back a little bit so that we can feel the pinky toes rooted like little anchors, little kickstands. Spread your toes and then lift your knees here so they hover over the mat. We're just gonna let our head hang, gonna defy gravity here, waking up the abdominals, the breath, maybe building some internal body heat. And then as you inhale, lift your hips, find your downward facing dog. Home is where the heart is, right? So many of us have been home a lot more, and whenever I come to down dog, I feel like I've come home. So just start to lift the chest here, lift the hips. You can keep the knees as soft as you'd like and maybe pedal one knee out and then the other, maybe even zigzag those hips side to side, moving into plank. So just kind of warming the body here, aligning that breath with the movement of the body and ironing out any jagged edges you might feel. Good, and then we'll slowly start to make our way, finding that nice place of stillness. And then as you inhale, lift your hips, roll high onto the balls of the feet, wave your body forward into a high plank. So if this feels too challenging for anyone, you can always lower your knees here, but press through your heels, reach through your heart, take a full breath. And then as you exhale, send your hips back. We'll do that now and just add on. So as you roll onto the balls of the feet, wave your body forward, take a nice full breath in your high plank. Drop your knees a little bit wider than hip width. Untuck your toes, child's pose. Let that forehead touch down. Exhale, round through your cat stretch, knees wide. Tuck all 10 toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog, come home. High onto the balls of the feet, wave forward. Drop your knees down, untuck those toes, and shift back, Balasana. So our child's pose activates all 7 energy centers or chakras. So just maybe visualize the colors of the rainbow as you move. We'll take one more on our own. So we've already showed up today and we're bettering ourselves in self-reflection so that we can shine out into the world. We'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll roll high onto the balls of the feet. Walk your feet to meet your hands at the top of your mats. Take your time getting there. Keep the knees nice and soft. And we want to make sure our feet are directly under knees under hips, and kind of awaken the jars of the feet here. So spread your toes, again, channeling all those energy channels or nadis. Take a deep breath, inhale, lengthen here. Halfway lift. Use your blocks under the hands for support if you need to, and then exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, press into those feet, lengthen halfway. Peek your heart forward. And then exhale, fold. Let's do one more just like that. Inhale, lengthen here. And then exhale, bow. Good. So this time we're going to hip hinge. We'll take that deep breath, inhale, halfway lift. Hands can move under the knees. And then we're going to catch our hips with our hands and then push out through the feet and rise up to our standing Tadasana. So I'm going to be incorporating some vibrational sounds as we move through our energy centers today. Let's find our Tadasana with the palms. If you're looking to raise that vibration, palms can face out. If you'd like to lower your vibration a little bit, maybe ground down, turn the palms so they face in. Deep breath in mountain pose. Exhale out of the mouth. Take your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Bring your palms together and then exhale with the knees soft. Take a swan dive all the way down. Hands can come to blocks or the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your right foot to the back of your mat. You can kind of wiggle those toes back and then drop your right knee down. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Good, exhale, hands through our heart. Place your hands down. Tuck your right toes, left foot to down dog. Inhale, sweeps your right leg high, bend your knee, open up your hip. Really lean into this here. Make sure you feel safe. Lift that right knee a little higher, maybe hip stack. And then exhale, knee into chest. Lift your hips for an inhale. And then step your right foot all the way through between the hands. Lower the left knee down, untuck your toes, arms sweep overhead. Palms join together. Exhale, they bow through our heart. Hands come down. Tuck your left toes. Find a runner's lunge. Inhale here. And then exhale, step your left foot to meet the right at the top of our mats. Take an inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward bend. Root down, rise up. Sweep the arms overhead, bring the palms together. And then exhale all that energy right into your heart. Inhale, arms extend. Exhale, take that swan dive. Beautiful breath. We bow to a better version of ourselves. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back this time. Wiggle those left toes back a little further. Drop your left knee. Untuck the toes, arms sweep. Palms bow through our hearts. Exhale, hands to earth. Left toes tuck, right foot to downward facing dog. Next inhale, left leg sweeps, bend your knee. Lean into it here, breathe. Good, so we're moving into that root chakra, that paperweight right at the base of our spine, anchoring, grounding and rooting, deep breath. And then knee into chest, lift the hips for an inhale. Step your left foot in between the hands, drop your right knee down. Arms sweep overhead, inhale. Exhale, our hands bow through our hearts. Hands release down, good. So tuck your back toes, runner's lunge, inhale. Right foot joins the left top of our mat. Take an inhale halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Exhale, our hands to our hearts. So we're gonna take a moment here, hands resting at our hearts, and just close our eyes. And visualize the color red. So when you work with Muladhara, and that's our root chakra, right at the base of the spine. Our elements, nature, getting back to nature and grounding and rooting. When we're out of balance here, fear can arrive. It can show up in different ways. It's been nice to do some really grounding practices in the past year. Maybe just breathe in the words, I am. We're going to begin with the vibrational sound of Lam. So you can join in or listen, placing one hand on top of the other. Take a deep breath, inhale. Lam. Good, inhale, open the eyes if they were closed. Find your Tadasana. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Exhale, take a swan dive all the way down. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And on your exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot back and then your left. Find your high plank here. We'll take a deep breath, inhale. And then lower the knees down and untuck your toes. So keeping your crown, shoulders, and spine in one long line, we're gonna exhale onto our bellies. Hands will just wrap around the rib cage, alongside the rib cage. We're gonna inhale with the toenails rooted. Feel that energy in the posterior chain, the back body. And then inhale, start to find your baby cobra. Wrap your elbows in. Good, deep breath. Draw the pubic bone down as the navel draws up towards the spine. And then exhale, fold. We'll take 2 more just like that. So inhale, just start to open up that front line a little bit as we strengthen the back body. And then exhale, Bhujangasana. 1 more breath, inhale. Peel that heart forward. And then exhale, fold. Take the forehead down. As you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, move through tabletop. Find your downward facing dog. So the beauty in our practice is when we start to align our physical body with our souls. That's where that transformation happens. That's where that beauty occurs. That intersection of consciousness right at our heart space. So we're gonna add on, take the right leg towards the sky, bend your knee, inhale. 3-legged dog, twisty 3-legged dog. And then exhale, knee into chest, lift your hips a little higher. Step your right foot all the way through. We're gonna step our back foot in a little bit, turn the toes out for warrior 1. So feel the energy between the front heel and the back heel. We want our hips internally rotating. And then perch up onto the peace fingers or maybe hands to blocks. And then rise all the way up, Virabhadrasana 1. Good, that back hip might float open a little bit. Nice full breath. Good, draw those pinky fingers towards one another as you soften your expression. Give those toes a little wiggle. Good, nice full breath. Inhale here. And then exhale, we'll wrap our hands behind our low back. If you can interlace at the small of the back, you can give yourself a little gentle massage. Feel that root chakra, feel that space. And then inhale, open the chest. Be hugging the shoulder blades together. And as we exhale, humble warrior, bow to the inside of that right thigh. Let your head bow, maybe reach your hands away from the small of the back. And can we look at humility on a global scale? When we can do this, we can release conflict. We can simplify in some ways. In our humble warrior, we can tap into that humility personally. We'll take this breath or 2 and just bow, surrender. And then as you exhale, take your hands to the small of the back, guide yourself up, arms extend, Virabhadrasana 1. Good, so take your hands to your heart, extend your right leg, just give it a break for a moment. We're gonna bend back into warrior 1 and take our arms out like eagle wings. So I'd like to come into eagle, Garudasana. We're gonna move through the arms first. So we're gonna take the left arm under the right, stacking the elbows, bending the elbows, maybe hands join in prayer, maybe hands to shoulders. Inhale, lift the fingers. And as you exhale, just guide the fingers away from the nose. We're gonna shift our weight to our right foot and wrap that left leg around the right. If you have a block, you can use it under the left foot or use those left toes like a kickstand. Bend into those knees, stacking knees, elbows. Find that midline and breathe here. For 3. We sink those hips a little lower. Good, so we ground, we face that fear. 1 more breath, inhale. Push out through that standing leg, unravel so we can fly. Take the hands together at our hearts, exhale that energy into your heart space. Deep breath, exhale. Good, open the eyes, arms sweep overhead. As we exhale, take your forward bend, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back and then your right. You can lower those knees. You can move from high to low. High to halfway is what I would suggest for chaturanga, or skip it all together, yogi's choice. Exhale. Inhale, find a back bend that feels comfortable and safe. Honor your needs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep that left leg nice and high, bend the knee, open that hip. Twisty three-legged dog. And then draw that knee into chest. Lift the hips for an inhale. Step your left foot between the hands. Step your back foot in a little bit and lower that right heel down. So pause. Take your time, scissor those inner thighs. When you're ready, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Let that right hip flip open, just kind of splay open a little bit if it's too much on the back knee. And breathe. Beautiful. Nice full breath. And then as you exhale, take your hands, wrap them behind the low back. Interlacing, open up that front line of energy. Deep breath. Glide those shoulder blades together. One more breath. Exhale, humble warrior, we bow. Let your head bow. Let your breath deepen. Good. Take another full breath. Hands to the small of the back, feeling that root chakra, and then exhale, slowly round up. Release the interlace, arms extend. Give that left leg a break, hands can come to your hearts. And then inhale, bend back into that left knee. Arms open up, find those eagle wings. We're gonna take that right arm underneath the left this time. Just alternating. Inhale, lift the fingers, and then exhale, hands away from the nose. Good, deep breath here. So anchor that tailbone. And then when you're ready, full Garudasana. So taking that right leg, wrap it around the left, sink into that invisible chair. Yeah, maybe drop that right foot to a block, the ball of the foot for support. Hold here for 3. Find that drishti for 2. Good, last breath. Inhale, push out through that standing leg, take flight. Arms overhead, exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, take your arms into Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, lengthen halfway. As you exhale, plant your hands, right foot steps back, then left. Optional Chaturanga Dandasana. Use that breath. Breathe in that up dog or cobra. Exhale, send the hips back. We're gonna add on here, moving into that Swadhisthana, that orange chakra. So right at the hips, that sacral chakra, bend your right knee as you lift your right leg. Embrace that male energy, that balance between our divine female and male energy. Breathe into it. Good. And then slowly draw that knee into the chest. Inhale, lift your hips for a breath. Step your right foot in between the hands. Stay on the ball of your left foot. Hips are nice and square here. Rise up, Anjaneyasana. Beautiful. Then we're out of balance in this second sacral chakra. What comes up is guilt. When we're in balance, we have this beautiful space for creativity, expression, this connection not only to ourselves, but to others, that relationship. So inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, Dekasana through the arms, root down through the left toes. And then inhale, rise. And then exhale, Dekasana. Inhale, rise. This time, exhale, hover. Upper body hovers over the right thigh. Draw your right knee forward, lift your left heel. And then when you're ready, Virabhadrasana 3 with Dekasana arms. So turn that left hip down, square the hips. Energize through the left big toe. Breathe here. Another full breath. Good, release that left foot to join the right, arm sweep overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, inhale, arms sweep overhead, other side. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands left then right, step, step. So this integrated fluid movement, if you're moving through Chaturanga, like you have one muscle. If it feels jagged or choppy, that's where we lower the knees, or maybe we skip. We move to down dog. Inhale, sweeps the left leg high, bend the knee. Embrace that divine feminine energy, breathe into it, lean into it. And then exhale, left knee into chest. Inhale, lift the hips a little more. Make some space, left foot steps through. Right toes root. Inhale, rise. Settle in, Anjaneyasana. So take a moment here, breathe. And then when you're ready, float those arms back, Dekasana. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Good, inhale. This next one will hover over that left thigh. We'll draw that left knee forward, lift your right heel a little bit. Prepare, move into that Virabhadrasana 3. Shift your weight to the left leg. We move from fear to flight, to creativity. We become open. Take another deep breath, inhale. Good, and then release that right foot next to the left. Arms sweep overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. You can switch the placement of the hands as you stack your hands over your heart space. Slow the breath. If you need to grab a drink of water, go ahead and grab a drink of water. And you can feel free to join me in this vibrational sound. And so I always wondered, why do the colors align? Why are there certain colors in the chakras? Our bodies actually in these areas respond to these colors more than others. So Swadhisthana, that orange space right through the hips, reproductive organs. So let's take our hands to our heart. We'll move together through the sound of Vam. So you can join in or listen. You feel that vibration right through that sacral chakra as you take a deep breath, inhale. Vam. Deep breath, inhale, open those eyes, arms alongside the hips. So it takes a lot when you have a terrible voice like me to use those sounds in a class, right? So exhale, fold. Now stay with me here. We're gonna inhale halfway. As we exhale, we're gonna bend our knees, find our Utkatasana. Moving into that solar plexus, moving into that divine light with it, each and every one of us, that spark through our belly. So sit back through those heels and then move your weight into your toes and then find that beautiful space right in the middle, that equanimity. Soften the shoulders, maybe even close your eyes. Good, take a nice full breath and then lift all the way to standing. So we're gonna take an imaginary samurai sword. You guys can't see it, I don't think on the Zoom, but got it in between my palms overhead. But we're gonna zigzag that samurai sword. As we bend into our chair pose, we're gonna move that sword over to the left. And then we're just gonna zigzag over to the right. And maybe for you, it's an F. And then back over towards the left. And then we're gonna take that sword mindfully overhead, inhale. And we're gonna move in the opposite direction. Find that zigzag. Good, find that melody with the breath and the body moving together. Alternating sides in between. Good. So we'll do one more. Whatever side you're alternating. Good, and then we'll take that sword overhead. We're gonna move that sword over to the left. Zigzag over to the right and catch the outer right thigh with the left elbow. Moving into chair twist. Thumbs can come right to your hearts. Maybe that bottom hand turns into a fist and you rotate. Draw the navel in and up. Good. So this is where shame can sit for out of balance. And sometimes our energy, when it's stuck or out of balance in one space through the chakra system, it can show up somewhere else. So when we find that balance and we raise our vibration, this is where we can find our personal power, confidence. Good, raise that vibration, take another full breath, and then exhale, fold. Walk your feet about hip width, wrap your fingers around your elbows. Find ragdoll. Deep breath. And just trying to be our best selves, right? Live in our best possible way. And oftentimes coming together energetically, if it's not physically, helps us to align our souls and that heart level. So let's take another breath, release the elbows, let the arms just hang. Take a nice full breath, inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, let go. Root down, rise up, arms can sweep overhead. Take the hands to that imaginary sword. Good, and we're gonna flow here again. So exhale, and just kind of moving again with fluidity from one side to the other. And you don't even need to bend the knees if you're not in the mood today. You can stand up, just kind of move your upper body, finding that rhythm, honoring your needs today. Good. We'll take one more on whatever side you're on. And we'll raise that sword together. Inhale. And we'll start to zigzag that sword over to the right. Good, and then we'll catch the outer left thigh with the right elbow, chair twist. Thumbs right at our heart, lengthening through the crown. This can feel very awkward, especially after the holidays. So lengthen here, use a block under the hand if you want to release, separate the feet. Maybe not bend the knees as far. We'll take another full breath. And then we'll release, exhale. We're gonna lay our swords down. I think that's a good idea for all of us, right? Walk your feet apart. Wrap your fingers around your elbows like the head's lying on a soft pillow. Take a rag doll here. So this energy as we align and we create this beautiful vibration within ourselves. Everyone in our lives should thank us for this because we are sharing it. It has a ripple effect out there. Everyone we touch, whether we're with them physically or not. Release the elbows, let your body fold in half. Toe heel your feet together. Take a nice deep breath, inhale. Exhale, fold. Arms sweep overhead, reach down, rise up. Feel that energy, raise it. Bring your hands together. Bring it together right to your hearts. We'll place our hands on our bellies and we'll chant together the sound Ram, right? So it's spelled Ram. I know when I do a lot of core work, I feel like groaning and I feel like a ram. So let it go here. There's a lot of power right here when we're in balance, especially together in this beautiful group. So join in or listen. Take a deep breath, inhale. Ram. Deep breath, open the eyes, release hands to Tadasana. Exhale out. Sweep the arms overhead, inhale. And then exhale, take that swan dive, bow. Take a deep breath, halfway lift, lengthen. And as you exhale, plant your hands and just step back to your plank. Maybe now's when you say that, Ram. Maybe you want to scream it if you can. We're gonna take a nice full breath here. We're gonna lower all the way onto our bellies. So you can lower those knees down, but come onto your bellies and then just walk your hands alongside the body. Turn your right cheek so your palms face up. This beautiful moment of surrender. Take it to receive here. Feel the breath, feel the energy, how it moves through you. Maybe notice that lateral expansion as you breathe out, those muscles just softening alongside the spine. Those nadis, those energy channels just moving like a cross at the back of the heart. And then on your next breath, we'll alternate left cheek to the earth. and breathe. We're moving into Anahata, our heart chakra. Let's kind of soften and take this moment to notice what's in your heart in this moment. Is it grief? Is it grace? Next inhale, we'll take our third eye to the mat. We'll walk our legs together like we have one leg. And I'd like you to just flip your palms. So make sure the palms are facing down here. Just to warm up as you move into Shalabhasana. So keep your toenails rooted down. See if you can even energize your back body. So we've done a lot to kind of warm that space up. So lift the knees, maybe the thigh bones, planting the palms. And then draw the pubic bone down as we inhale. Let's start to reach our heart forward, lift head, neck, and shoulders. Keep those toenails rooted. Breathe. Good. Maybe we begin to shine out into the world through that heart, bringing physical and spiritual together right at the center, right at that intersection. Take another full breath. And then exhale, release the right cheek down to the earth. Flip the palms, take a breath, sigh. Next inhale, we'll bring the forehead back to center. Really zip up through the inseam of the body, interlacing the hands at the small of the back if that feels comfortable. You know, burrow that third eye into your sticky mat for a breath, feel length. Good. Keep the toenails rooted to start and just lift that top half of the body. Open that front line. Maybe draw the heels of the palms together as you slide the shoulders down the back. Now, maybe like you have one leg, lift that leg. Breathe. Take another full breath, inhale. And then exhale, slowly lower. Left cheek to the earth. Let your arms just hang heavy alongside the body. Good. And then bring the forehead back to center. We're going to walk our elbows under our shoulders here, moving into Sphinx pose. So take a moment and just kind of press the heel of each palm into the mat. Lift your fingers, spread the fingers, and then just slowly start to draw it. Pull your heart forward. Just see if you can reach the sternum forward a little bit as the base of the skull draws back. And then release the fingers down one at a time, fingertips. This always reminds me, now I'm aging myself, of a pantyhose commercial. Remember pantyhose? So we'll inhale, lengthen. We're gonna bend our left knee and then just turn your gaze over your left shoulder. Good. You might see those toes and then come back to center, release the top of the foot. Take a full breath and then exhale, bring your gaze over the right shoulder. Good. And then inhale back to center. Pull that heart forward. Take another deep breath, inhale. And then as you exhale, just stack hand on top of hand. We're gonna walk our legs a little wider and bend our knees. And just wave your legs side to side. And take a few deep breaths here. And then release the top of the feet down. Walk your hands under your shoulders as you wrap your elbows in. Take a lengthening breath. And as you exhale, move through tabletop, find your child's pose. Draw the hips back here, maybe arms wrap around the body. Maybe sway your hips. Maybe you're thinking about the last time you wore pantyhose or wondering what they are. I can take jokes a little too far, so I'll pause. Practicing the economy of words from my 300-hour teacher training. Take a deep breath in, maybe open the mouth and exhale. Good. So when you're ready, we'll just start to kind of unravel the arms if they came wrapped around the body, and just walk back onto hands and knees. And we're going to just sit back on our heels, kind of how I'm sitting. So if you need to sit on a block here, you can do that. Or you can just sit on your heels, or some of you might come into a little Virasana or hero pose by dropping sitting bones in between the heels if you're feeling like Gumby today. And we're going to just take that sacred pause here and tune in to the sounds of our hearts, to the vibration of our hearts, and anahata. Close the eyes with Yam, Y-A-M. So feel free to join in and listen. Let's take our hands to our hearts. Bring them into prayer this time. Before we join in, just take another moment here, connecting on a heart level. In the Eastern tradition of yoga, this is a place of a subtle space in the body. Breath within the breath. And also a bridge to ourselves. So without showing ourselves this love and compassion and forgiveness and kindness, we cannot walk across that bridge and connect with the other people in our lives. To take a moment here, and physically we can't, right? But energetically, maybe on a heart level, we connect. Someone comes into your thoughts right now. And we share this vibrational hum with them. You can join in or listen. Take a deep breath, inhale. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release your hands down to your thighs. You can grab a drink. We're going to make our way onto our backs. So I'll have you guys just kind of swing your feet around and just walk your feet to the top of the mat. And separate the feet about hip width here. I love to lower with a block in between my inner thighs. So if you're experiencing any sensitivity in the low back, and with all the Zoom calls, I mean, I'm with my kids doing it, so I know this keeps our inner thighs really strong. And that's a piece of the body that gets missed a lot in many of our activities and workouts. So keeping those inner thighs really strong, hugging in through the midline, keeping the glutes strong. The block will help us do this. So let's inhale, lift through the heart. Let's open up the arms here. And then we're going to inhale, lift those arms overhead. And as you exhale, just lower down, just at an angle. So kind of tilt back. We're going to open up the arms, inhale. And then arms overhead, maybe lift up. And then exhale a little bit more. We're going to open up those arms, sharing our light with everyone we meet. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, lowering down. Right? And this is where we go, oh boy, my feet are lifting, right? So just take your time. You can open up the arms if it feels good. Inhale, lift arms overhead, and this time we'll come all the way down. Exhale. Exhaling allows those lateral muscles to soften, that expansion to happen on our way down. Remove the block if you had it, but place it to the side. Extend one leg and then the other. Sweep your arms overhead, full body yawn. Some of you it's 9 o'clock, some of you it's 10 o'clock. I'm alone, so I'm just thrilled to have a little space. And then wrap one knee in towards the chest and the other. Give yourself a big hug. And then just slowly start to kind of chug through the low back, side to side. We're going to lower the feet down and let those feet come about hip width so the middle fingers can graze the back of the heels. Place your hands alongside your hips. And I'd like you to just close your eyes for a few breaths, or maybe steady gaze if that's more comfortable in your practice. And just feel the earth, feel that beautiful connection at the base of your spine, like that paperweight. And just feel that space through your hips, the invisible wheels of light just spinning around the right hip and the left. Moving to the belly and just breathing into that belly space, softening, settling. Good. And we'll come into another posture that will bring awareness to Anahata, our heart chakra. So let's tilt the pelvis forward a little bit and then lift your hips. Again, cores of the feet are active. Lift your hips, breathe. Again, block can come between the inner thighs. If that feels better in your bridge pose, you can walk your hands under the body, shoulders one at a time, roll underneath you, fingers interlock. Maybe corners of the mouth rise. We rise together. And take another deep breath, inhale. If you came into your interlace, just unroll. Unroll those shoulders. Exhale brings you down safely, vertebra by vertebra. Good. And just allow the small of the back to come down. We're going to take our legs and extend them for Vaparita. So if you have a block and you'd like to use a block under the small of the back, although it's not necessary, we're just going to take the legs and lift them with the palms facing up. If you want to ground, you can turn those palms down. You can also use a space at home, feet up the wall. But we're just going to take a few breaths and Vaparita, legs extended. Some of the benefits of balancing our energy centers is kind of a metaphor for circulation and regulating the nervous system as we start to come down. This is a beautiful one to do at night if you have trouble sleeping. When we start to tap into Visuddhu, which is our throat chakra, it's light blue. And so this is a beautiful space for communication or listening. Our truth. And I invite you here to take your hands and offer some self-massage. So I'd like you to take your hands and just kind of move your hands around the throat on the sides. Maybe just kind of, again, noticing any jagged edges that you might have, maybe smoothing them out with the fingers, moving through, moving around. And you might start to take those fingers right along the jawbone. And just kind of moving the fingers, be up around the temples. Maybe around the brow bone, the inner eyes, the sockets. Use your ring fingers, though, that's sensitive there. And maybe just doing that one more time, moving down along the cheekbones, around the throat. This has been a challenging time with communication and speaking and differences and conflict. So remember, we have a conflict between our head and our heart. We always go back to our hearts, and we go back to how we feel, right? And that communication, or maybe it's listening. And then when you're ready, we'll just take our hands back down. We'll lower one foot at a time, planting the feet, sliding one leg long and then the other, and letting your palms just come alongside the body. Take a breath here. And let's take our hands to our hearts and we'll align the vibrational sound of hum, H-A-M, if you'd like to join in. We'll take a deep breath, inhale. Hum. Legs are nice and long. Eyes can be closed. Take another breath here. Draw the knees in towards the chest and just slowly wave side to side. And then drop the feet down. We'll bring the soles of the feet together and let our knees just splay out. So feet come in prayer, knees splay out for Supta Baddha Konasana. We'll take our arms and stretch them overhead with our fingers wrapping around the elbows. We'll bring our awareness to Agna, our third eye, space between the brows. And then that vibration's nice and high. We have this beautiful intuitive sense. And when our vibration is low in this space, we may practice denial. And so Agna, the translation is actually command. So it's really this command center for our physical body. So I want you to take this moment intuitively, and I'd like you to find a posture, maybe a stretch that your body intuitively needs here. You might come into a twist, or you're loving the back bends, maybe a wheel or another bridge. But just find your way. Good. So let's make our way back to a moment for rest, for Shavasana. And start to extend your legs and maybe grab a blanket or an eye pillow, anything at home that's going to just help you settle in. We'll take a breath here together, energetically in through the nose. And then as you exhale out of the mouth, just flutter the eyes closed. Moving towards that crown chakra. Where our attachment or non-attachment can live. I'll give you the space now for quiet. We let go of each moment as it disappears beneath our feet. These moments are gone as soon as we're aware of them. Kind of like a rainbow evaporating as soon as you see it cascading across the sky. And the next moment continually emerges as the previous one vanishes. Let's take our energetic vibration here today and pull it back into our hearts. Coming together, connecting as we unify as one. I invite you to take your hands to your hearts and stack one on top of the other. Take a moment to send your energy to London, to Denver, to Virginia, to Hingham, all over, everyone that's here today on this call. And to shine your soul with the same egoless humility as the rainbow. And no matter where you go in this world or next, love will find you. And it'll attend to you and bless you. Let's begin to find our breath today. This conscious breath in and out. And then maybe finding some movement in the body. Taking a full body stretch or yawn. And awakening back to yourself. And hugging those knees into the chest. We'll come onto our favorite side when you're ready. Curled in, fetal position. Open to so much possibility. So much opportunity. When you're ready, we'll start to guide ourselves up to a comfortable seat. The voice of our hearts will always speak louder than the voice of our minds. Let's bring our hands to our hearts where our physical bodies and our souls align. Whether we're together physically or not, energetically, we're here. Let's take a deep cleansing breath in through the nose and a healing breath out of the mouth. We'll close with our final vibrational sound of Om. And Om is what signifies our brain chakras, so our third eye and our crown, and universal sound of everything, of nature, of it all. So let's come together with one final Om. If you'd like to join in or listen, take a deep breath in. We'll raise our vibration here together and on a global scale, guiding the thumbs to the third eye. The spirit within me bows to the spirit within each and every one of you. We'll bow our chin towards our heart. If you'd like to say namaste, namaste. Thank you all so much to the people on Zoom. I'm going to close out Instagram. I started a little late on Instagram, but thank you everyone on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Thank you.